Laundrie is alive based on everything you know?
Yes, I do.
And speak up for me too.
Yes, I do. And I base that on the fact that his family has hired an attorney. Why do they need an attorney if he's deceased? Second, I base it on the fact that they took that trip right when he returned, preceding his disappearance. And I believe that that's very possible. They were setting up his situation so that he could go into seclusion. And I believe he's alive.
So hold on, let me just take my phone case off because it gets overheated. Okay. So do you think the parents are involved? The parents in this house right now?
I think the parents are withholding information regarding his whereabouts, regarding what happened out there. I think they have a close relationship with their son, and I think it is very probable that they have information that would lead to law enforcement finding him.
What would it take for the FBI to come here and arrest the parents?
Oh, that would take overt acts that they would have had to commit in aiding and abetting him being gone. So, as an example, if they find that they took large cash withdrawals out of their accounts, if they find that they actually helped him get a cellular phone that is untraceable, a trash phone, something along that line could lead to a charge of aiding and abetting.
Okay, I'm going to start asking some of your guys questions. So send me questions. Someone just asked, do you think he'll turn himself in?
No.
Why not?
He's gone to too great of lengths right now to be gone. And I think he knows in Wyoming, if he's charged by the state, they have the death penalty if he's found guilty of killing her. Secondarily, the best case scenario, if he is found guilty, would be a life sentence. And I don't think there's any way somebody with his mentality would risk that.
They're asking me, can they seize the parents' red pickup truck behind you to look at the GPS where the parents were?
Possibly, yes. If they show probable cause that that was used, yes.
Someone is asking, do you think he's at the wildlife reserve?
I don't. I don't think he's there. I think that that was a ruse that was set up by him and then propagated by the parents so that law enforcement would extend a long period of time there.
Let me see here. I'm just going through here. How can they live in the house if it's a crime scene? I don't think it's technically a crime scene, right?
It's not a crime scene. There was no crime committed there. There just might be indicia of the crime there. And that is why they searched there. They showed probable cause that indicia of the crime could be there.
Do you think he went into hiding after his parents took him in the camper? You know, there was apparently this camper trip.
Right. The camper trip, by the timeline I'm aware of, happened right before his disappearance. So his disappearance was on the 14th, and the trip were the 3 days preceding that.
Okay, let me see here. If he's found in another country, can he be brought back?
It depends which country. We have extradition with several of the countries, but not all of the countries. So completely dependent on that.
All right, let's see. Got more questions here. Can he leave the country given the warrant? Could he get on a plane?
He can't get on a plane using his identification, no. But could he get on a plane using other identification? Yes.
Okay. The autopsy. So the autopsy was done in Wyoming. They released the cause of death as homicide, but no, we don't know any specifics. How she died, when she died. How long do you think that will take?
I think it's going to take a while, not for them to have the knowledge. I think they have the knowledge now. I think it will take a while before that information is released because that is the key to the case in large part. Was it at a gunshot wound? Was she strangled? Was she strangled with a ligature? What exact does she have DNA under her nails? Was there a struggle that took place? There's so much information from that autopsy that's going to lead to answering many of the questions that are out there.
This is a tough question to answer, but I'm going to ask it because a lot of people are asking it. Where do you think he is?
I think he is an outdoorsman, and I think it's likely that he's at a secluded camp but I think that there is evidence out there that could lead to him. And what I mean by that is that trip needs to be analyzed exactly where they went, which can be determined by, as you mentioned, the GPS, but also by credit card usage, by debit card usage, by pings on the cell phone. All of that could lead to answering this very question where he's at.
If his parents are home right now, it's not a crime scene, but can the FBI monitor their phones? I mean, what if he tries calling them or something?
Yes.
I know there's secret stuff you can't necessarily say, but they can't. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. His phone can be monitored. Their phones can be monitored.
Okay. Let me see here.
Takes a warrant.
Yeah.
Showing probable cause, but you betcha.
I'm just gonna ask you a couple more here. Let me just get a few more. A lot of these you've already answered, so I'm just trying to get.
I have a question.
Okay, Luis has a question.
Have you seen any of like those deer cams that they think it's him? Do you think there's anything to those?
I have seen those, and quite frankly, it is such poor quality. I think it would be difficult to believe unequivocally that that's him. But it's possible. Every lead should be followed.
I've wondered this. There's so many tips coming in. I mean, from all over. Does the FBI really have the resources to go through all these tips?
Yes, they're going to be gone through. There will be agents from the entire field offices throughout the United States. The states are also helping out, and the locals. So they have the manpower to follow up on these tips. It's just going to take time. But believe me, they're getting them, and it's blitzkrieg. They're getting out there, getting answers to these tips.
So I was out at the reserve the last couple of days. It's miserable. It's like a swamp. It's awful. You would never go there to hang out at this time of year. And I feel bad for the officers because there's a lot of them out there and it's a lot of resources. And they've been out there for days and they announced today they're going to go back tomorrow. Do you think they know something we don't know to put that amount of resources into this?
I think it would be remiss of them not to follow up to the extent that they have the resources to follow up.
Okay.
And I also believe that there must have been outside corroboration beyond Brian telling the parents and parents telling law enforcement. I really do think there must be outside corroboration for them to extend this type of manpower.
Okay, let me see. When will we find out?
I have a question.
Okay, Donna has a question.
Could the parents be liable in any way? Can they be charged for the idea that they set up this search? Could they be charged for the resources of the search?
Yeah, if they knew that he wasn't there.
I have not in my years have I ever seen a family gone after, except for criminally. Criminally, yes.
But not financially. Was your question financially? Okay. You guys okay?
Either, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Not that it couldn't happen, but I have not seen that happen.
Do you guys live in the neighborhood or?
Yeah.
Do you have any questions for Jennifer? She's a former FBI agent about the case.
We do have a lot of locals here, so I'm just wondering, like, if they want to ask them.
Oh, sorry. What were you saying? Can you just come a little closer so my live feed picks you up with your question? Yeah.
We do have a lot of locals here, and we hang out in those types of areas with, like, it's swampy, it's muddy, and we know how to ride in them, and we know what to do. So if they needed help and wanted our equipment, do they want to ask,
I would say that they have local law enforcement officers that are in much the same situation, that are familiar with the reserve and that have gone out there themselves, and that's probably who they are relying on to make sure that they know about the trails, that they can properly maneuver getting through where they need to look.
Yeah. But if they need help, they want equipment, we've got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's nice of you to say that. Yeah.
Trail cameras.
Have you seen trail cameras out there? No? You haven't seen any?
No.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. I'll just ask you like one or two more questions, Jennifer, then I'll let you go. I know you've been here a long night. Let me just let a few. Is it? Would he be able to leave the country without the FBI knowing?
He could. If he has good enough identification that can get through airport security, absolutely. You can buy fake documents, and good fake documents are hard to glean. But I will say, I guarantee that all those law enforcement officials, they are closely watching for him.
And this is one last one. This is an interesting one. Can they do a polygraph on the parents?
So they can ask for the parents to do a polygraph, but they are under no obligation to do any polygraph examination. And again, that's an investigative tool. It's not evidentiary, only a tool.
And just before we lose you tonight, what is there anything else you want people to know? Is there anything you don't think people are talking about or thinking about that you want to get out there?
I do want to get this out here. Law enforcement is working tirelessly on this case. They are up, some of them probably getting little to no sleep. They are as committed to finding Brian Laundrie and having closure to this case than anyone. They're vested and they're doing their best. There is so much going on behind the scenes and so many leads being followed that people have no idea what is happening until it comes to conclusion. So I would just say keep your faith in law enforcement because they are doing all these things we're talking about.
And I had to squeeze one more in because everyone's
Yeah.
asking this and I've wondered. You know what Spotify is? It's that service where you can have your songs. People are really into digging into Brian Laundrie's Spotify account. There are some strange songs he listened to. Can that be used as evidence, or is that just sort of something that people are interested in?
Oh no, it can be used as evidence. All of that are little bitty clues that when you put them all together can lead to what he was doing, where he was at, where the Spotify was used. I am quite certain there is a subpoena for Spotify.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Jennifer.
Yeah.
You were amazing tonight. Thank you for coming here. I know you came all the way from St. Augustine, and you were on the special.